Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Knights, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today, we are doing The World, which is chapter 55. Attributes: strength 10, dexterity 13, endurance 29, intelligence 23, charisma 13, ether 9, health 25. Available points to distribute 8. Looking over my attributes while floating in the lake for the first time I think the last time I purposely looked at it was with the caravan, shows me how disproportionately the points are spreading. I knew that. Class only boosts the attributes that apply to them. With the explorer being about traveling and finding things, it makes sense health, intelligence, and endurance get class points. Although, considering there's a combat side to it, I'd have expected there to be something for strength or dexterity. You know what, there's no comma here. For strength or dexterity. Instead, I'll have to rely on the points I gain each level and training in those areas. I really should find a way to start on that again. It was easy back home. There were weight machines, a lot of space within base to run, and classes galore. The only thing I'm not sure how I'd have gone training is my ether attribute. I'm sure there's something, but magic has never been something I saw a point in training. I think that has to change. I want to dump all my point in strength or dexterity, or maybe ether. The one place I know I'm not interested in putting them is charisma. I'm perfectly average in that attribute and I'm okay with it. 8 points in each of them should make such a difference. Should make a difference, but it would log them away. It would log the points. It would log the points away forever. All those possibilities is gone. I'd have to live with the decision, especially once I realized I'd made a mistake putting them where I put them. Spreading them evenly is tempting. Cover all my bases. How can I screw it up that way? Oh, the ways that can be a mistake. Brandon was right. Every decision I make can be a mistake. Probably will be at some point. I wish knowing that helped more than it did. The rest of it, what he said, the rest of what he said does, though. Deciding what you want to be and decide what you want to be and build your sheet for that. I want to be a guard back home. That means combat. But I have to make it back home, so that's travel. Only I have to survive the trek so I can make it back home, and that's combat again. Okay, maybe it's not as helpful as I'd like it to be. The reality of my situation is that I need to balance the two. I wish it was easier to do than it seems. At least part of it does cover both endurance and health, help in combat, and travel. But after that, do I go for dexterity and strength, which clearly benefit combat, or ether? I guess that one's not obvious, but I can get access to teleportation magic, 4 more points, and add it all day. Then the next one gives me that. I already have 3 points I can put in it, so 2 levels and teleportation becomes a thing for me. I thought it's going to let me just move from here to court from the start, but that's going to be a real boost to the traveling. Then there's Ether Journey. 5 levels after that, although I don't quite get how that one works. System query: Ether Journey, Explorer ability. Prerequisite: Ether Striding, rank 5. When a location designated as a ruin has reached 100% discovery state, it becomes a travel marker. Ether journey allows the explorer to travel between two travel markers. Such journey is taken through the etheric lands and measures 2,197 kilometers, regardless of the distance crossed in the physical world. The etheric lands are not a place where wandering off the marked path is advised. I've never heard of the etheric lands, and 2,000 kilometers is a lot to cross, so it's only useful for distances longer than that. Then there's the added issue of exploring two ruins completely at a minimum. There's the power station by Cord, so there is that. But how far would I need to be to get a benefit from it? It's probably best not to think about that one until I've reached teleportation magic and ask around about the lands. But you, Dennis, are getting sidetracked. Attribute points are what I'm supposed to be working on now. Endurance, intelligence, and health are off limit. My class takes care of that. Ether should get something if teleportation will be magic, I do. Actually, there's also healing magic. I really should look into that later, but it makes putting some points in ether more probable. So, strength, dexterity, and ether. How do I spread my 8 points among that? Do I want to put all of them in? Advantages. Ether boosts my mana pool, important for teleportation and healing. Dexterity helps nearly all physical skills, which includes all of the combat ones. Strength governs damage I do, how much I can lift, and the size of my inventory. Huh. That's definitely something I can benefit from. Pouches and backpack help, but I can't access them if they aren't on me, like right now, naked in this lake. If I need something other than what's in my arms and armor slot, yeah, I need a better name, in my equipment slots. In my equipment slots, I'm kind of screwed because all I have in my 4 personal inventory slots is the jerky, since that lets me have a train over train in each instead of the train each slot in the other packs do. And it's only 3 points to get my strength to 13. The increase to damage is probably insignificant, but I go from 26 arrows in my quiver plus the 20 others in my backpack, taking 2 slots, to 168 in 1 personal slot. And I go from 4 to 9. Okay, that's worthwhile. 5 points left. As far as I can tell, skill level is the big factor in their effectiveness. Skill? I can tell for combat. As far as I can tell, for combat, skill level is the big factor in their effectiveness. Attributes have minor effects, but over all of them, which, if they are high enough, is what makes them so powerful. The thing is that I only have a handful of skills, dexterity effects that matter. My combat skills. That's, oh, I see. For skills, really need to turn off the cap lock. As far as I can tell, for skills, level is the big factor in their effectiveness. Attributes have minor effects, but over all of them, which, if they are high enough, is what makes them so powerful. The thing is that I only have a handful of skills, dexterity effects that matter. My combat skills. That's 6 skills. I'll probably add some over time, but is that a good use for my points? I'll raise my skill through training, and I do train regularly. Points in ether provide a definite effect, but I can't take advantage of them until I have magic, which is second wind. That needs grit strike, which is undertaking it on the nose. Great. I only have 1 point in that, so I'm looking at 10 levels until I get it. Not to mention the 5 I need for teleportation. 15 levels. Talk about investing. Talk about investing in the future. Although, I get ability points from my class quests. Research just means reading books. The fighting monster one doesn't require me to kill them. Finding ruin and caches will be a little more complicated, but that is where I'm heading, so... Okay, 3 points in ether because no matter what, I'm getting healing magic. I can't always depend on others and healing food. Not only that, but I'm making that the focus of my next ability point. Ability points. I bring up that tab and immediately hesitate, adding the 3 points to taking it on the nose. I already invested in momentum, and that's going to be wasted now. No, I need it for ether striding, so not a complete loss. And I'm getting distracted again. Attributes are what I'm working on, and I have 2 points left, and immediately I want to keep them in reserve. The rationale makes sense. There's no way to know when a boost will be helpful. Putting my point in willpower training back at the power plant proved that. Only there's a flaw in that reasoning. Willpower training is a skill. I'm dealing with attributes. The only ones that would have a noticeable effect for each added point are strength, endurance, health, and ether. But their boost have to be small enough they probably have to be small enough they probably wouldn't turn the fight. So I'm better off placing the points now and figuring out how to make the changes work. So, strength or dexterity? I think strength is only valid if my goal is to increase my inventory space. I'm not the fighter Brandon is, and I don't think I'll ever be. I want to be able to fight at close range, but fighting at range after nearly dying again is a lot more appealing. Dexterity doesn't help all that much, but it does, and I think I remember someone mentioning it helps running too, which is to my advantage, and I have a way to check. Stats pool. Hit points 276. Mana 120. Willpower 6100. Stamina 378. Inventory slots 9. Base weight capability 148.85 kilos. Well, technically kilograms. Base damage 14.9. Soak damage 56.76. Running speed 10.8 kilometers per hour. I put the point in a point in dexterity and stats pool. Hit point 276. Mana 120. Willpower 6100. Stamina 378. Inventory slot 9. Base weight capability 148.85 kilograms. Base damage 14.9. Damage soak 56.76. Running speed 10.8 kilometers per hour. Really? I was expecting a change. I put the other point in, and stats pool. Hit points 276. Mana 120. Willpower 6100. Stamina 378. Inventory slot 9. Base weight capability 148.85 kilograms. Base damage 14.9. Damage soak 56.76. Running speed 10.8 kilometers per hour. Did I remember wrong? Maybe it was about the running skill? I have points, so I put 1 there, and stat pool. Hit points 276. Mana 120. Willpower 6100. Stamina 378. Inventory slots 9. Base weight capability 148.85 kilograms. Base damage 14.9. Damage soak 56.76. Running speed 11.5 kilometers per hour. Must be what I heard then. Okay, so my points are assigned. Now to work on my abilities, which should be easy. It's just 3 points, and I already said what I wanted to do. I'm still waffling when Silver calls, Dennis, it's Silver. I stand up, dismissing the windows, and realize the water only goes to my thighs. So I hurry deeper to cover myself. My face is burning when she steps out of the trees into view. She looks at me, my clothes on the bank, and smiles as she looks back at me. Did I interrupt something? I stammer. I was working on my sheet. Uh-huh. She sits on a log. Can we talk? She adds before I can stammer a protest. About what happened in the dungeon? I almost tell her none of that was her fault, but then I realize the fight isn't what she wants to talk about, and my face burns even more. I didn't mean. The stammering makes me stop. I take a breath. You're a good-looking guy, she says. I have someone, I hurry to say, back home. So the look you gave me, in there? I don't bother opening my mouth. My body's letting me know, in no uncertain terms, how I feel about her. Thanks to the system, I'm deep enough that's not visible through the water. You're attractive, I say, doing my best not to let the words run off. And when I was on, when we, a hand over my face isn't helping the words come out properly. I think it's like Brandon said, she says. It was the adrenaline, because in the moment, if we hadn't been in a life and death situation, I could have kissed you, and that would have led to more. Yeah, I admit. Me too. I just wanted to make sure you didn't get the wrong idea. But if you have someone waiting for you, whatever happens, you won't think nothing's gonna happen. She tilts her head quizzically. I get that out here the rules are different. That you know what, if we have sex, doesn't it doesn't have to mean anything back home, but it would mean something to me. Not that we're together or anything like that, but it would still mean something, and I can't do that to Josie. She's who you have waiting back home? I nod. And is that why Brandon's not here? I expected him to ask if you were still serious about that kiss as soon as we were outside. And my face is burning again. No, he's been keeping his distances, letting me cool down. Of course, the memory of how I kissed him is having my body react again. I came here to think and work on my build. He was right about that, at least. I need to commit to something instead of accumulating points until it kills me. I hope you figure that out, then. It's progressing. She stands and looks at me. Before I go, just wanted you to know something. Even if it was because of the fighting, I don't regret the way you looked at me, or how I looked at you. You're a good guy, Dennis. I'm glad to be your friend. She's gone before I find my voice. Instead of calling to her, I look down. You're no help, you know that. First Rich, then Josie, then Brandon, and then Silver. Didn't we decide we were going to marry Josie years ago? Of course, it has nothing to say. All it ever does is get images going in my head. They're for taking care of it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to go after everyone it's interested in. I shudder the memory of Rich's smile, the invitation in it, his laughter as he pushed me into that hole. I'm keeping myself for Josie. The rest is just fantasies, and that's all that'll remain. I dunk myself under the water and use its coolness to chase those images away. Still have work to do. You know what? I still have work to do before I take care of it. I move closer to the shore and sit with the water to my neck. Bring up my sheet back up and look at my abilities. No more dilly-dallying. I need to commit, and that means all 3 points going to taking it on the nose. Now, on to skills. When I get back to camp, I've put 3 points in archery, 4 in quick knocking, and 3 in tumbling. That leaves me 5 for emergencies. I head for Ellen, and she stiffens for some reason. After I ask what's involved in learning ether training, she looks surprised. You want to learn magic? She glances at Brandon, who's on the other side adding wood to the fire. He raises his head and shakes it. He rolls his eyes with a shrug. Maybe I need to instigate a no private chat rule. Instead, I wait until she focuses on me and raise an eyebrow. Sorry, it's just that I thought that Brandon, she sighs. So you want to learn magic? So, so you want to learn magic? I'll get healing magic as part of my class and later teleportation. Because it's never been something I ever thought about. My ether is only at 12. It's only at 12 because I just put 3 points in it. I know nothing about how it works, but I'm pretty sure that if I'm going to rely on healing magic, I need more than my basic pool. You do. She looks at Brandon, but before I can sigh at yet another private conversation in front of me, she speaks. See, that's what thinking ahead and proper planning looks like. If you thought like Dennis, you'd be able to actually heal yourself when you are seriously hurt instead of spending all your money on those potions. He flips her the bird. Okay, maybe this should have been a private discussion. And that concludes chapter 55 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe, hit the bell. If you want to read the story, it is available for free on Royal Road. If you want to read ahead of that and support me in the process, that is on my Patreon, and we are about 10 chapters ahead. If you are looking to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.